无边无际的有情众生，速得无上正等觉圆满佛果，请大家发广大殊胜的菩提心，以及方便广大密众生动机，并且如理如法的谛听。
Please listen to the teaching by cultivating the two aspects of supreme motivation, the vast intention of the Mahayana Bodhicitta, and the vast method of the sacred mantra Vajrayana, so as able to lead all sentient beings as limitless as space to the state of the unsurpassed Buddhahood.
那我们今天呢开始讲这个寂天菩萨造的入菩萨行论。那入菩萨行论呢是一个非常殊胜的，也是非常有名的一个论点。那这个呢，这次我们讲这个论的时候呢，我们就是主要是以实修的一个方法来讲解这个论点。当这个入菩萨行论本来它的注解是在藏地也好，在印度也好，有非常非常多的注解，非常详细的注解。但是呢，我这次讲的时候呢，我主要就是以这个无著菩萨所写的这个入菩萨行论的注解以这个为主来讲解。
So today we'll be beginning the teaching of the Bodhicaryavatara, which is or the guide to the Bodhisattva way of life. And this is composed by the Bodhisattva Shantideva. This teaching is actually very profound as well as very well known. And in terms of the teaching itself, will be coming from the teaching will be explained from the perspective of the actual practice. And because there are actually many commentaries regarding this teaching, whether it's from the Tibet and India, there are actually many commentary. This is today we'll be going from the commentary explained by the Bodhisattva Asanga. So it will be based on the commentary of this Bodhisattva for this teaching.
那这个菩提萨多无著菩萨呢，我们不是那个印度那个无著菩萨我们有两个无著菩萨，一个是印度的无著菩萨，一个呢是在西藏的无著菩萨。这个无著菩萨，我们所说的，今天我这个呢就是写佛子信37颂的那位菩萨就是他是出生在西藏的，所以呢他的这个注释呢，就是在西藏是非常有名的，大家公认以为这个是加持力最大最殊胜的一个就是注解，所以呢就他也不会说是引述很多很多东西，然后就很详细这样，但是呢也不是说是没有把主要的讲到，这样就是也不会说是太少，也不会是太多，就是非常就是有加持力的，然后呢讲解的方面也是非常的一个专注重点的一个论述所以呢我们今天呢讲的就是以这个来做一个讲入行论的一个解释的一个这个法本这样。
So this Bodhisattva is not actually the Sangha from India. It's actually this well-known accomplished master called Gyatse Tokme Zampo. He's from Tibet. He's one of the very well-known Buddhist master in Tibet. And he's also the author for the very well-known the 37 verses for the life of Bodhisattva, or the way of Bodhisattva. It is considered as the most well-known as well as the most blessing of the commentary that's been composed in Tibet. In terms of his style of composing the commentary or teaching, he wouldn't incur many detail or excessive information, but nor he would not leave out any important point. So it's not too much, nor not too less. The commentary itself has very immense blessing, and it's also very focused on the teaching or the points, to the points itself. So thereby we'll be using this version of a commentary to explain the guide to the way of Bodhisattva.
因为我们在讲每一个论点的我们所说的主文也好，或者宋词也好，我们需要依靠一个就是其他的正确的或者是以前高僧大德所讲过的一些论述来作为背景，以这个为主来讲解这个宋词所以呢，这是我介绍这个就是我呢这次讲这个就是以这个为主来讲解这个入菩萨行论的宋词这样。
Because in order to give to give teaching on the main content or the verses of a commentary, we need additional explanation as a background to serve as a context and background to explain these verses. And that's why throughout the time I'm given teaching, I'll be using this version of the explanation to support the teaching of the main verses.
然后这个这通密宗钵，也就是无住菩萨，他是一个从小就是一个就有具生的菩提心的一个就是大菩萨来的他小时候可能就是在4、5岁这样小的时候，他出生在西藏嘛，西藏很冷，有一天就是下雪，风浇雪这样的时候当时他就是到外面去玩。到外面去玩的时候呢，后来就下午他们回到家的时候，身上一件衣服都没有，就是光身的回到家，那么冷的天气，光身的这样回到家里，然后就他的父母亲就说：“你的衣服呢？”他说：“外面有很多众生，很冷，所以我就把衣服就给他们了。”然后他的父亲就觉得这个有点奇怪，我要去确认一下是不是真的有这回事，就让他带他去。然后结果呢，他就那个通密宗钵就带他的父亲，就是他在玩的那个地方一个矮洞，那个旁边有很多的蜘蛛，就是被那个风浇雪，这是冻在那里很冷，他就把他的衣服全部脱了盖在那个身上，盖在那些那个蜘蛛的身上，然后呢就旁边还压了一些石头，这样，就是从小就具有这样很就是强大的这个菩提心的一个人。
So this great Bodhisattva, Jatse Tome Zampo, he had this really almost like an inherent bodhicitta since he was little. When he was 4 or 5 years old, there was one day that in Tibet it was a very cold day, and that time he was out playing. And then that day's afternoon, when he had returned home without any clothing on him. When his parents asked where his clothing are, he replied that he gave his clothing to other living creatures, since he thought that it was such a cold day that they might need them. His father had really doubt on this, so he asked Jatse Tome Zampo to go take him to where these living creatures are. They then went to this area where there was spiders that were frozen around the area, and then such that the Tome Zampo used his clothes to cover these spiders, and also lay stones on the ground so that these spiders wouldn't be enduring such intense cold. So even when he was little, he had demonstrated this genuine inherent bodhicitta.
所以我引用这个注解来讲这个入行论的目的，也是希望我们在学习这个入菩萨行论的过程当中得到一些加持，然后呢，在这个过程当中呢，将我们的相续当中真正的能够升起菩提心。我们这个学习入行论的话，一方面来说，入行论是一个很深的就是深奥的法门。从另一个角度来说的话，只是理解一下它的词句的话，也不是说是很难所以，但是呢，我们这次学习并不是只是了解一个词句方面的一个就是讲解之类的，而是我们真正的深入的了解什么叫做菩提心，真正的就是看我们的相续当中能不能够升起这个菩提心。然后呢，得到这些传承上师们、这些高僧大德们的加持，然后在我们的相续当中能不能够升起这个菩提心，这是我们这次要学习入行论的主要的目的。
And thereby the goal to use this version of the explanation during the process of learning this profound teaching, and guide to the Bodhisattva way of life. At one hand, is to really to have, so that we can receive this immense genuine blessing, and also able to truly genuinely arouse bodhicitta in our mind stream. And the guide to the way of Bodhisattva, on one hand, on one perspective, it is actually a very profound teaching. On the other perspective, it is not really hard to learn the teachings or the verses through its word by its shallow meaning by words. So here, however, we are really what we're truly trying to understand or learn from is how we can truly able to generate bodhicitta in our mind stream, also with the blessing of the great masters before us. So this is really the main goal of giving this profound teaching.
我们这边的道友也许有些已经学过入行论的，有些也许还没有学过入行论。不管怎么样，我们大家在共同的在学闻思这个入行论，不会更多的。因为比如说以前在藏地的有些高僧大德，他们是坚持每年在寺院里面要讲一遍入行论，每年要讲一遍这样，然后呢，尤其是就是在一个大乘佛教的修行者来说的话，入行论是非常非常重要的一部论点，所以呢，我们大家都学，或是多听几遍，一点都不会多，然后还有入行论的其他的很多的就是讲解，大家要在网络上或者是法本你们要看要去学习的话，大家都可以去参考，那你们参考的过程当中呢，要看就是这个翻译者是谁，比较可靠的翻译者你们就去看，如果是不怎么可靠的，就是随便写的话就不用去看，就没有什么需要去看这样的那比如说像索达吉堪布啦、慈城罗珠堪布啦、西盆座堪布，然后还有其他的英文的版本，也就我不是很清楚，但是如果是可靠的这样的大德有注释的话，你们呢可以去参考这些，然后就多闻思这样。
So in terms of this teaching, some of you may have learned it before, and some of you this may be the first time. But no matter what, here today we'll all gather here to begin to basically learn this teaching again. And it's something that's definitely not definitely considered as useful, because this teaching is so profound that there's some great masters before that they would insist having given this teaching every year in the monastery, like as an annual event. And so thereby this teaching, especially as a Mahayana practitioner, is a very, very important teaching or a very important commentary. So be able to listen to them multiple times wouldn't be count as too much. Of course, there are also many other explanations or regarding to this teaching, whether it's on the internet or some other textbooks that you can check out, you can use to learn, to use as a tool for your learning. But keep in mind that if the translator of the text or the teaching is someone reliable, then you can look into these teachings. If the translator is not someone not reliable, then there's no need. Great masters such as Khenpo Sodaki, Khenpo Tsunojo, Khenpo Yoshiponso, these are all reliable teachers that their explanation will be well worth to take a look. But and as far as regarding the English versions, I am not so sure, but this is something to keep in mind.
比如说，去年给这法王在 ODD 的时候，他每天都在看这个书，在读这个书，就是我们说的这个 Tommy Zombo 的这个入行论的注解。然后我就问你在看什么，他就说他的根本上是曾经跟他讲过。这个Tommy Zombo 就是无住菩萨注解的这个入行论的这个注释，如果是一个人念上100遍的话，只是那个念的那个加持力，他的心里面就会升起菩提心。所以他说我发愿了1年里面要念100遍，所以我每天都在赶。所以像给这法王都每天在念，他要念100遍这个注，这个蛮厚的，
For example, His Holiness Bodhicitta Rinpoche, when he was around in the area last year, I saw him read this commentary. This explanation of the commentary by Tome Zampo, and I see him reading it every day. So thereby, I asked him, "What are you reading today?" And His Holiness said that his real guru told him that anyone who able to read this version of the explanation based on by Tome Zampo 100 times, then that person's mind stream will genuinely arouse bodhicitta. So thereby, I aspire to read this 100 times every year, and now I'm currently catching up on my progress.
所以呢，我们就可以想象，有菩提心是多重要的，然后呢，这个的功德是多么大的。所以呢，这个我们就要很明确的知道，我们以前的高僧大德们为什么慢慢就变成菩萨，然后慢慢就成佛，一生当中有那么大的成就。这些我们都以他们的作为，他们学习，他们是多么精进的这样我们从这方面看，我们就可以观察一下我们应该要怎么样，我们的路应该要怎么走所以呢，这次呢，我们讲这个入行论的时候，也是大家就是最主要就是看自己的相续当中能不能够真正的升起菩提心。所以从今天开始，我们每天在讲课的开始，大家要发心发为第一个是为天下的一切有情众生如母的一切众生能够成佛。第二个发心就是愿我能够升起真正的菩提心，在我的相续当中能够真正的升起菩提心就是不停的这样发愿。然后呢，我们在家里闻思的时候读的时候，我们也是这样发愿，然后再看法本读，然后在听课的时候也是这样发愿回向的时候也是这样发愿这是非常重要的，能够自己的相续当中能够真正的升起菩提心。
So thereby, from this, we can imagine how important it is of bodhicitta is, and how much merit we're able to receive, or blessing we can that this teaching possess. So this is why we can understand how great masters before us, how they gradually, one step by another, to become bodhisattva and then become Buddha, and accomplish their activity of benefiting sentient beings. We can also see how diligent they are in their path. So thereby we can also use them as a reference to see how we should progress in our path. So here we really need to, thereby the goal here is really we need to see whether or not we can truly able to arouse genuine bodhicitta from this teaching. So thereby, starting from today, whenever we are engaged in learning, contemplating the teaching, we should first aspire for all sentient beings who were once our mother, for them to attain enlightenment of Buddhahood. And we should also aspire that we can, in our mind stream, we can truly generate this genuine bodhicitta. And this type of aspiration should not just limit to during the class. It should be whether we are doing our practice at home or any other times.
所以接下来呢，我们就正式开始讲这个入菩萨行论。那入菩萨行论整个论点呢，我们可以分成3个部分3个部分来讲。首先就是第一个呢，就是我们所说的首义，然后呢就是论义，然后呢就是尾义，我们就是可以3个部分来讲。首义就是前面的意思，开始的一个首先的首，然后呢就是论点的，就是论义，对，论义尾结尾的，就是首中尾就是分成3个这样。
So now we officially begin the teaching on the guide to the Bodhisattva way of life. Regarding to this teaching, it can divide into 3 major parts: the beginning or the intro, and the actual content of the teaching itself, and as well as the ending or the conclusion teaching.
然后呢，首义里面呢就是分论名就是这个论点的名字。然后呢，就是接下来就是说 这个礼义就是顶礼的部分，然后呢就是承诺的部分，承诺就是写这个论点有一个承诺的部分，然后呢就是高僧大德们通常都会有一个谦虚的就是谦虚的部分然后呢最后呢就是生欢喜心就是分成这个一共分成5个阶段来讲，就是手艺。
And regarding, so in the first part, the introduction or the beginning, we will first explain in the name of the commentary, and then the prostration part, and then a promise or a vow or the purpose of this commentary. And also there's this great masters before us, when they are composing commentary, they will have this humble attitude or this humble words. And then lastly, this joyful word, words of joy. So it consists of 5 parts, 5 sections of this beginning part, the beginning introduction.
首先是论名论名呢，这里分梵文的，然后呢藏文的，然后就是中文的这样。那为什么就是有3种呢？这里因为我们今天是用中文讲的，所以呢就有3种。如果是用藏文讲的时候呢，我们首先是用梵文的，然后就是有个藏文的这样。那梵文里面讲的话，就是 Bodhicaryavatara 阿巴达拉阿巴达拉就是这样。这个就是梵文的这个入菩萨行论的论名藏文我们就今天不讲了就直接翻译成中文。那翻成中文的呢，就是什么呢？就是入菩萨行论就是这样。
So, regarding the name of the commentary, will be first given in given in Sanskrit, and then Tibetan, and then Chinese, in terms of the text versions. Because we're giving out teachings in Chinese, then we'll be, if it's just Tibetan, then it will be only 2 types of the translation of the name. So the Sanskrit is the Bodhicaryavatara. So which is the, as you can see in the English version, and then since will be given in then the name will be given in Chinese, but for us then this is the English will be a guide to the way, a guide to the Bodhisattva way of life.
那我们在通常藏文的论点，从印度翻过来的论点里面呢，论文的名字是首先会放在那里，用梵文就是有一个论文的名称放在那里。那个论文的名称放在那里呢，也有好几个含义在那里，有几个意义在那里。第一个呢，就是知道这个论点是来自于很亲近的从印度的梵文翻译过来的，这是第一个。然后第二个目的是什么呢？第二个目的就是为了这个感恩我们这个翻译译师，因为如果是翻译的这个译师没有把这个梵文翻译成中文的话，藏文的话，我们根本不懂梵文的这个意义，所以呢，就是把这个梵文的原文名称会留下来的。
So usually when they're translating the commentaries or teachings from India to Tibet, the Sanskrit version of the title would always be kept, and it will be listed out as first. This is include many meanings. First, is to demonstrate that it is from the teaching came from a pure lineage from India, that originated from India, and the second is to be grateful to serve as grateful for the translator who translated these teachings, because if the translator did not translate this teaching from Sanskrit to Tibetan, then for us we wouldn't be able to understand. So thereby these are the meanings on why we keep the Sanskrit version of the title at first.
还有一个意义呢，就是因为显节千佛他们来传法的时候，都是会用梵文来传法，所以呢，梵文的加持力是很大的。所以呢， 当我们听到这个梵文的时候呢，同时在我们的相续当中也种下了这个梵文的种子，也就是得到了这个梵文的加持所以呢，为了得到在相续当中停留这个加持，所以呢就是这个3种含义。
Another meaning is that in the Buddhas of these 1,000 kalpas, that they will be all given teachings in Sanskrit. So thereby the Sanskrit itself has immense blessing. Thereby to be able to hear this teaching in Sanskrit or the title, we're able to plant a seed of blessing or in our mind stream.
然后呢，我们通常就是这个是跟所有论点都一样的，比如说论点的名称就是取这个论点的名称的目的是什么呢？就是我们所说分成上根者、中根者和下根者那如果是上根者的话呢，就是看到这个论点的名称，他就基本上可以了解所有的这个论点里面讲述了什么他可以通达这个论点的大概的就是意义。中根者呢，就是他可以大概知道这部论点是属于3藏经典里面的哪一藏他可以大概知道是哪一藏。然后就是下根者的话呢，就是至少他可以找到，比如说到那个图书馆里面去找法本，或是这样的时候，他至少可以知道找到哪一个法本是这样的目的呢就是这个论点的名称的话，简单讲的话是这样。
And also, this is common to all the titles of the composed Buddhist commentaries, that for the title it serves as a meaning for those who are of the upper faculty, the middle faculty, or as well as the lower faculty. For those with the upper faculty, by seeing the title, the person is able to understand the overall meaning of this commentary. For those with the middle faculty, that person will be able to understand which of the triptaka this commentary belongs to. The lower faculty will be that for those at least that person will be able to know where to look for this teaching in terms of a library or where they store teachings.
然后呢，就我们这里就首先讲解这个论名。论名的话是Bodhicaryavatara。那这里所说的 body 是什么意思？Bodhisattva 是什么意思呢？Bodhisattva 就是菩提萨多它的意思就是菩提萨多。我们中文里面它通常都是 Bodhisattva 就直接写成菩提萨多。那菩提萨多里面我们所说的它的含义是什么呢？它含义就是它有一个取与舍取舍的含义，取跟舍的含义相我们翻译成藏文的时候，相就是菩提，可能是这样一个取是什么呢？就取掉我们所有的这个烦恼是取掉所有的二障叫做取就是除对遣除取出的去掉的去
所以取是
去除的去对，出掉舍是舍受的舍，就是得来的那个
So here we'll be first beginning to explain the title. The title first says Bodhi, or here it says in the Chinese text it says Bodhisattva. So the word Bodhisattva here, there's meanings. The meanings of eliminating and receiving. And so first the eliminating, what is it trying to eliminate? Is to eliminate our mental afflictions and as well as obstacles.
就是菩提2个字然后就是它的那个刚刚我们所讲了就是取出的部分然后呢它还有一个就是摄受的部分，受我们得到，也就是得到什么呢？得到所有一切功德就它就是菩提，它就是有2个舍去的一个意思在里面，舍去一切罪业或是一切烦恼或者一切障碍，得到一切功德或是得到一切智慧它菩提里面就是包括了这个意思。
So the word Bodhi, the other part is meaning of receiving. And what is it receiving? It's receiving all the qualities, all the qualities of the Buddha. So the word Bodhi has two meanings: to eliminate all the mental afflictions or the obstacles, and to receive all the qualities. This is what it meant by the Bodhi itself.
然后呢，就沙度沙度是什么呢？什么意思呢？沙度其实它的意思就是，勇敢勇敢的意思英雄勇敢的意思。什么勇敢呢？就是他行持六般若波罗蜜多，不对这些升起任何的畏惧而勇敢，为度化在六道轮回的众生里面，不管是经历什么样的就是这个挑战，他都不会生任何的畏惧而勇敢就是菩提萨多，就是勇敢，非常勇敢，他什么都不怕，就算为了众生，就算要下地狱，他也不会怕所以你记住勇敢。
And then the second part, sato. This sato means brave. It means as a person that who engages in the 6 paramitas without any to engage in actions of 6 paramitas without any fear. It's for the purpose of benefiting sentient beings or liberating sentient beings of 6 realms. And no matter what type of challenge that the person encounters, the person would not have any fear. He will be fearless and brave. Even if it were to benefit sentient beings that the person would have to endure hell, he would not be afraid. This is what it meant by sato.
比如说我们现在有很多人就是怕别人说这个，怕别人说那个，或者是怕这个怕那个。但是菩萨的话，只要是度化众生的事情，他什么都不怕，很勇敢的。
Because such as that nowadays there are some people that are afraid of others saying this and that, or afraid of different type of things. But for Bodhisattva, to benefit sentient beings, in that matter, that Bodhisattva would not be fear of anything.
这就是菩提萨多，然后就扎尔雅，扎尔雅的意思是什么呢？就是行的意思，行。行什么呢？行持，行持什么呢？就行持六般若波罗蜜多，这就是行的意思，就是这个。所以我们说入菩萨行论，就是行就是这个，行持六般若波罗蜜多。虽然菩萨的行为有很多很多，是无数无边的，但是呢，可以包括在就是六般若里面就可以包括的话，可以包括在六般若波罗蜜多里面，就是六度。
And then the next part of the word title, jaya or kaya, it means action. Then what is action? Actions of the 6 paramitas. And although there are actually many types of actions of a bodhisattva bodhisattva can engage in, but it actually can be included, categorized into the 6 paramitas.
然后呢，就是阿巴达拉，阿巴达拉的话就是入的意思，就是入到哪里呢？进入到菩萨的六度的行为里面就是阿巴达拉就是入到哪里？入菩萨的行为里面去这样。
And then the next part, avatara, it means to enter. What are we trying to enter? We're entering the 6 paramitas, or the actions of the bodhisattva.
然后呢，这里论的话就是，其实这个这里面入菩萨行论就是指的我们这边讲的这些宋词的部分就是可以说是论述论的话还有很多其他的讲解，但是我们这里就暂时不再讲更多了，就说入菩萨行论这样。
And then there's in the Chinese now there's the commentary, the word commentary. It means regarding to verses of this teaching. So yeah, that's in the Chinese version of the text.
这一上呢，我们就是讲的入菩萨行论的这个论点的名义。好，接下来呢就是顶礼，这个礼赞。首先的这个顶礼呢是这个应该是这个翻译师的顶礼就是顶礼一切佛菩萨，顶礼一切佛菩萨，在英文里面有没有？
它只有佛。
这里说是一切佛菩萨， 对，我们首先第二个呢，就是我们首先的这个顶礼的部分。
Okay, and so that is the meaning of the title itself. And now onto the prostrating part. And it says Om, homage to the Buddha, or when we say prostrate or paying homage to the Buddhas. But in the Chinese version is paying homage to the Buddhas and Bodhisattva.
那顶礼的这个部分呢，是翻译的这个翻译师所做的顶礼。以前的在藏地的这些伟大的翻译师们，他们将印度的这些论点翻译成藏文的时候呢，首先作为顶礼，一个目的就是首先是为了自己能够完整的把这个论点翻译完，然后呢，在这个过程当中不会有任何的违缘障碍所以呢，就首先要顶礼。
So regarding the homage itself, it is from the homage from the translator of this teaching. So the great Tibetan translators before, when they are engaged in the translation of these teachings and commentaries from India from Sanskrit to Tibetan, they would first, they pay homage to the Buddhas and Bodhisattva, is to really able to aspire to be able to complete the translation of these teachings, and then also during the process to able to translate this successfully without any obstacle. So thereby, this is the purpose of the homage.
所以呢，这里说是顶礼一切就佛菩萨。那顶礼这个部分呢，也有很多的讲究，但是呢，这个详细的讲究我下午的课的时候再讲。那这里呢，主要就是顶礼一切佛菩萨。如果是我们知道的人的话，一看这部论点就是属于是这个经部的一个论点可以这样去了解。
So here. Regarding the homage itself, there are actually many details and additional meanings, but they will be actually explained in the afternoon teaching. But here, just simply put, that it says the homage to the Buddhas and as well as the Bodhisattvas. By seeing this as homage, you are able to understand that this is actually a commentary of the sutra, based on the teaching of the sutra.
接下来呢，就是这个。基天菩萨他本人在著作这个论点的时候的顶礼句这顶礼句呢是善事法身佛子伴及诸应尽我悉离就是这两个句子来做了顶礼。
So here now it begins the homage, which from the original author Shantideva that he composed as he began to compose this teaching, this commentary. And here it says, reverently bowing to the Sugatas who are endowed with the Dharmakaya, together with their children and all who are worthy of veneration.
然后这里所说的善事。善事的话，它有很多的讲解，但是最重的话就是主要善事，也就可以理解为就是佛就是善事这里说的法身那个法身的话呢，就是我们所说的可以说成就是佛的这个舍身，那个是佛的这个法身佛的法身呢，它是代表法报化三身它也代表了法报化三身，也代表了就是我们所说的三宝，那就佛以及法所以这个里面所说的法身，这个里面也代表了佛法里面的，就是三宝里面的佛宝跟法宝。
So here the word Sugata. There are actually many meanings regarding Sugatas, but here we can understand Sugata as the Buddhas. And also here it says the Dharmakaya. The Dharmakaya here can be interpreted as the three kayas of the Buddha, such as it's included in the three kayas of the Buddha, such as Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya. And can also we can also understand this including the Buddha and then the Dharma of the three jewels.
然后就是佛子伴 佛子的话，这里就是讲的我们所说的就是可以包括着我们所说的佛法僧里面的僧宝也就是所有的菩萨们佛子伴这就是说我们也讲了他顶礼的这个对境里面，首先讲了就是佛法身，然后呢就是也包括了这个法报化三身，也包括了我们所说的就是佛法僧三宝就是在包括里面这些。
So here it says the children, and with their children, the children including the sanghas. This is referring to sanghas of 3 jewels, and that including all the bodhisattvas as well. So here the subject of the homage by Shantideva is to the homage of the Buddha, the Dharmakaya, which includes all 3 kaya, Dharmakaya, Sambhavakaya, and Nirmanakaya, as well as the 3 jewels of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the sanghas.
这以上的这个对境呢，主要就是针对大乘佛法的一个皈依或是顶礼的对境。因为我们所说的大乘佛法里面的佛法僧宝，它是指的是菩萨，而不是就说4位比丘就是僧。所以呢，在大乘佛法里面的我们所说的皈依的僧就是我们指的是菩萨。比如说就是任何菩萨就是我们的僧宝，并不需要具备4个菩萨、4位菩萨或是怎么样所以这以上大概上指的就是说我们需要顶礼或是皈依的对境，就是大乘的这个对境。
So these subjects in which to pay homage and pertain to the Mahayana vehicle of the refuge and homage, because in the Mahayana teaching, the Sangha is referring to the Bodhisattvas, not the 4 bhikshus we know of the lesser vehicle. So this does not mean, so thereby the Sangha here in this teaching, Mahayana teaching, refers to the Bodhisattva. So hereby, this is to point out that in terms of the Mahayana vehicle, the subject of refuge and to homage is the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas.
然后这说即诸应尽我悉离，他说以及诸位应该礼敬的对境我都顶礼。这些是谁呢？比如说是这个声闻缘觉的阿罗汉呐，或者是就是这个讲法的法师们呐、堪波们呐、上师们呐等等，主要是应该恭敬的对境我都顶礼这几诸应尽我悉离就是包括了这些其他的所有的就是应该恭敬的对境我向你们顶礼这样。
And then also here it says, all who are worthy of veneration, these include the Sarvakas, the Pratibuddha, the Arhat, as well as the Kempos or the Gurus, etc. This includes all the ones that should be revered and respected, that the author pays homage to or bowing to.
这个顶礼呢，就是吉田菩萨为了造这个论没有任何的违缘障碍，以及自己积累资粮所以呢就是做了这个顶礼。
So this homage by Shantideva is to, for the purpose of composing this teaching, is so that there's no obstacles during the process, and as well as to accumulate merit, he first engaged in the prostration or homage to these subjects.
接下来呢就是承诺，我们所说的诺言就是诺言这样今当依教略先说，趋入佛子律义法。这2句颂词，它就是主要就是宣说我要开始讲解了我要开始写这个论点了我在这里写什么呢？我将就是把这个依照释迦牟尼佛陀的教言把它里面教言里面所有的东西呢，就是简略的方式从这里呢就是开始宣说就是这样。首先就是承诺我要开始做什么事情了这样。
And then it continues, I shall concisely present a guide of the discipline of the children of the Sugatas in accordance with the scripture. So here this begins that the part of the oath or the vow that he now begins that he will now begin to compose this teaching or what he's writing, such that he's writing according to the teachings of the Buddha Shakyamuni in a really concise manner, and he's basically saying that he will not begin this teaching.
然后他在这里承诺的时候呢，他提到2点。他第一点，他就说我会简略的讲，简略的讲，他是说经当依教，然后把佛陀的教源里面有的东西呢，我会把它就是简略的讲，然后呢，就是将这个趋入佛子的这个律，就是戒律戒律的法呢，我把它简略的讲下来的意思。那如果说佛陀已经讲了，你还讲来干嘛？有什么意义呢？他说是有意义的，因为佛的讲的这个太广太深了，所以要把它编辑成一个一般的人很容易懂、很容易去学习的一个法的话，就是需要这样简略的读下来。所以呢，他就说我以简略的方式呢，将这个论点就是开始写下来。
So regarding to his vow or his oath here, pointing out 2 points. The first point is that he will concisely present the teachings of the Buddhas as well as the guide or discipline of the children's. So here, this is in terms of the concise, people may be wondering if the Buddha already gave teaching, then what is the point of giving the teaching again? There is the point. The important point is that this is for the purpose for people to able to learn the teaching in a more effective by concising, to making it more concise, so that people able to engage in learning in a more effective way. So this is the importance point of it.
那这里面的主要讲的是什么呢？讲的是律义法。律义是什么呢？就是戒律法。戒律呢，菩萨的戒律这里讲3条。3条戒是什么呢？就是律义戒。第一个就是律义戒，第二个呢就是舍善法戒，第3个是饶益有情戒。这个名称你知不知道？英文的？不知道哈。
我就直接翻。
OK， 好，那就是这样，就是就是有讲这3种戒条的。
So here, regarding this, what this teaching will mainly point out is the discipline or the vows of the Bodhisattva. The vows or disciplines of the Bodhisattva can be divided into 3. The first is the disciplines itself. These are loosely translated. The second is the choosing of the right or the proper or improper actions. And the third is the discipline of benefiting sentient beings.
就是那个3个戒条然后呢，接下来呢就是下一句就是这个谦虚的部分。他说：“此论未宣，悉所无。诗韵寓意不善巧。”然后是故未敢言利他，未修自心撰此论。这4句就是在讲就是以谦虚的方式这是在这里讲的。
So then here now it begins with his humble words of humbleness. It says that there's nothing here that has not been said before, nor do I have any skill in composition. Thus I have no concern for the welfare of others, and have composed this solely to season my own mind. So these are the words of his own, due to his whole humbleness from the author himself.
然后他说：“此论未宣，悉所无。”就是这个论点里面没有什么新鲜的东西，没有什么以前没有的一个东西。然后呢，他说：“诗韵寓意不善巧。”然后呢，再加上我写的这个里面的诗词或者他的宋词这个部分，也不是那么就是很动耳就是很动听的、很好听的，这样也没有，他是这样。然后再加上呢，是故未敢言利他。然后他说我写这个论点也没有发心说为了利益众生，或者可以帮助到很多的众生而写了这个论点。他说也不是。 他就是讲了3种这个。然后那为什么你要写了？他说是为修自心传此论。我写这个论点的目的是什么呢？目的就是为了我的相续当中可以兴起菩提心，而且我在我的相续当中可以继续的练习或是实修，或是增长这个菩提心，而写了这个论点。
So here it says here in the first part, there's nothing here that has not been said before. He pointed out that in this teaching, there's nothing new or innovative. And also, he said, nor do I have any skill in composition. Meaning that in these verses that he has composed, they're not really, they don't really sound nice to the ears. And also, here it says that I have no concern for the welfare of others. That he means that the purpose, for him to compose this, he didn't mean to compose this for the purpose of benefiting others. So what is his purpose? His purpose for composing this commentary is here as it says, I have composed this solely to season my own mind. Such that he have composed this teaching for his mind stream to be able to truly generate this genuine bodhicitta, as well as to practice and enhance the bodhicitta in his mind stream.
所以呢，我们这里就是可以看到以前的所有的高僧大德，他们都是很谦虚的。不像就是现代的人，我们现在就是自己就是懂个1半之2节，然后就说我懂很多很多。但以前的高僧大德，他们已经都是菩萨了，还在说我什么都不懂，所以呢，我还要学习菩萨的菩提心，所以呢，我在为了我心生菩提心而这样写，所以这个就是我们有时候谦虚，这也是非常重要的，这也是一个。功德来的，一个人能够会谦虚的人，这也是一个功德来的。
So we can see many great masters before. They are actually very humble in what they do. Unlike people nowadays, sometimes some people they have only learned limited understanding, and then they claim they know everything already. So thus, great masters before us, they have learned, engaged in so much learning and contemplating, and yet they still have this genuine humble attitude. And the attitude of humbleness is also a quality of a person that is important.
所以我们在这里讲，你看这个，这个入菩萨行论，这个寂天菩萨他在这里这样的谦卑，他本身入菩萨行论写这个入菩萨行论的这个寂天菩萨，他是跟文殊菩萨像我们人与人之间可以对话的一个大菩萨，然后呢，他就是受着度母，是1天24小时都被度母保护的一个高僧大德。他可以跟文殊，他如果是有什么不懂的话，他可以直接像我们这样对话的，可以问文殊菩萨的这样的一个高僧大德，是一个非常了不起的高僧大德。当初为什么有了这个入菩萨行论呢？这个入菩萨行论，这是有一个历史故事的，
So this author, this great master Shantideva, for him to compose this guide to Bodhisattva way of life. This author Shantideva, he's truly a genuine great master. He is actually someone who's able to communicate with Minjashri Bodhisattva just like as you were talking to a person to another person, just able to communicate just like a person talking to another. He is also someone who has always been blessed and protected from the Tara, the Tara Bodhisattva 24/7. So this is someone who is really considered as an accomplished Buddhist master.
那个时候在寂天菩萨在拿南陀寺的时候，他在表面上完全看不出来他懂什么。平时他也不怎么就是看别人看见的时候，他都还是不怎么学习的，然后就是常常好像就是很懒散的样子。 然后就大家就觉得想要开除他，因为他在这个拿兰陀是一个非常有名的佛学院，就是想要把他开除，但是呢，也没有什么任何的理由要开除他。然后在那边的，这个就是其他的班智达就，有些班智达对他不满意的班智达就，大家就商讨说，那我们就来做一个就是。像比赛一样的就说大家来讲经，就是念诵这个经论念诵经论，然后呢，就是如果是谁没有办法念诵的话，就可以开除掉。所以大家就讨论，就是我们做一个这样的仪式，然后大家就有了这个共同点。后来就说好，然后就有人就派一个人去问这个祭天菩萨说，我们呢就现在再做一个这样的一个。准备，所以呢，就是明天是该你了，就是该你了，其他的一个一个的这样念了，然后明天就该你了，然后就是祭天菩萨就说好，那你们就把法座摆好，明天我来上场这样，然后就有些人呢就觉得，他这个语气看起来好像是心里还蛮有把握的，这样还是心里还是有点质疑，是不是他这是真是一个就是不露面的一个菩萨之类的，有些就产生这样的怀疑。然后有些人就说这什么不说他可能就是说大话了，明天一定会露丑。有些人就是这样想，然后就不管怎么样，他们就开始安排，然后就摆了一个很高大的法座，然后就第二天就是开始要让他念诵这个经典这样。
And regarding to this teaching, the guide to the Bodhisattva way of life, there's a history or the origin of how this guide came to about. The story of the origin of this teaching, it was that during the time for Shantideva was in the well-known Nalanda University in India, he appeared as if he just really didn't know anything. When other people see him, he always just seemed to be pretty lazy and not really doing anything constructive, just kind of hanging around there. So thereby, there are people within the university, within Nalanda, wanted to fire him or just ban him out of the university. However, there's really no reason or no excuse to do so. So thereby, some of the other panditas at that time in Nalanda decided that to have a competition to recite sutras and shastras. So if anyone who could not able to do so, well, then they will be fired. So thereby, they all agreed to this event, and then they asked somebody to go to tell Shantideva that there's this event, to inform him of this task or this event, such that everybody informed that people have already accomplished this task, this assignment, and that he is up tomorrow. When he heard of these words, he said, all right, just go ahead and place the throne tomorrow, and I will be there. When people heard that, some people thought that, oh, wow, he sounds so confident. Maybe he is truly a bodhisattva, someone who is truly a realized teacher or master. But others thought that he would just really fail. There's no way he can succeed in this. So by the next day, the thrones are set up and well placed, and then he then march towards to the place where he will begin the recitation.
然后呢，他就坐上法座，然后他就问大家，你们今天是要听一个以前就听过的一个经论，或者是要听一个以前没有听过的经论呢？然后大家就挑战他说，我们要听一个没有听过的经论。
So thereby, once he sat up to the throne, he then asked everybody, so for today, do you want to hear something you have heard before in terms of the teaching? Or would you like to hear something that you have not heard before? And then thus everybody challenged him and said, yeah, we want to hear something we have not heard before.
然后呢他就说好，那就开始念诵。然后他就因为这个入行论他以前就已经写好了，在他的记忆里面整个入行论已经有了，他就开始念诵这个入行论。就是在法座上开始念诵这个入行论，然后念到后面的智慧品里面，念到智慧品里面有两句是讲空性的那个部分，它就是腾空而起，就从法座上就是慢慢这样腾空起来了，然后就越念越高，越念越高，就从天空就消失了。
And thus he began to recite this teaching, the Guide to the Bodhisattva Way of Life, because he had already finished composing this commentary before, and he had memorized all the verses in his mind. As he began to recite this commentary, and then when he read to the chapter of wisdom, where it talked about the verses on the teaching of emptiness, he then physically began to gradually ascend from the throne. His whole body began to ascend from the throne, and as he recites the body, his whole body goes up higher and higher into the sky, and then finally he disappeared into the sky.
最后大家就在入行那个智慧品的部分的最后的部分，他们就只听到声音，完全看不到这个吉田菩萨的身影了，只听到从空中传来那个声音。
And then thus everybody at the end of the recitation of the chapter wisdom of this commentary, everybody can only hear voices. They could no longer see where Shantideva was. The voices from the sky is all they heard.
然后当时呢，因为在那个那兰陀寺有很多非常了不起的阿罗汉呐，或者是那个有总持陀罗尼的，他们就是只要听到一遍就永远不会忘记的啊，就是这样大的班智达啊，班智达里面有很多这样了不起的班智达，然后就是有很多了不起的这个阿罗汉等等的这些，然后他们就马上就把这个吉田菩萨颂的这个入行论全部记起来了，他们就记忆里面就全部记起来了。
So, and then at that time of the Nalanda University, there are actually many great accomplished beings such as arhats and those who were able to, essentially, the great panditas who were able to determine to upholding the Taroni. So it means that for these great panditas, they have this quality that if they hear anything, they will not forget. So as they hear upon the verses of the teaching on the Guide to the Bodhisattva Way of Life, they quickly memorize all these verses as they were recited by Shantidevas.
然后呢，他们最后就记忆下来的那个就是入行论，然后大家就在一起，然后就讨论了一下，结果呢，就是有2个不同的，就是有几位中部的，好像是印度中部的一些班智达呢，好像他们记的只有800颂，然后还有一个东南部的班智达，他们记下来的记忆里面就有1000颂，然后就因为这2个颂就不一样了。不一样，他们就想办法，不知道要在哪里去找这个吉田菩萨，可以证实一下哪一个是比较准确的。然后后来他们就到处去询问，就到处找，后来他就是找到了这个吉田菩萨，好像是在印度北边或是哪里，就是找到了吉田菩萨，然后就大家去见拜他，就说我们的就是听闻的这个那个入行论的颂词上有一些差别，有一些差异，到底哪一个是比较准确的？然后后来吉田菩萨就说：“哦，这个1000颂这个是准确的。”然后呢，就是所以现在我们的这个就是这个1000颂的那个部分。
So thereby, after they have memorized all the verses and then engaged in discussion with one another, they found out that there are actually 2 different versions. The panditas from the central India, they have memorized 800 verses, while the panditas of the southeast India, they have memorized 1,000 verses. So there are 2 different versions. So at that time, after they realized the difference, they want to go see Shantideva again to find out which one is the accurate version. They have looked around in India. Finally, maybe it's the northern India. They have finally found Shantideva. So they went to see him and asked him and told him about the difference and asked him which version is the correct one. Finally, Shantideva told them that the 1,000 verses version is the accurate one. So thereby, the version we have today is the 1,000 verses, the version of 1,000 verses.
所以呢，在这里说就是吉田菩萨，就是这个入行论是这样来的。然后这里说未修自心撰此论，撰写这个此论的这个字在藏文里面是我们所说的过去式、未来式或现在式里面，它其实是一个过去式的一个词。 那为什么他现在开始写这个论点，为什么要用这个过去式的词呢？这个也就是，其实寂天菩萨在他的心里面，早也已经把这个所有的入菩萨行论已经写好了，已经就是只是没有念出来，没有写出来。所以呢，这个里面的转词论的这个宋词，这个文字上，它是以过去式的文字的词句来形容的。
So this is how this commentary or this teaching originate. In terms of the translation, it says that I have composed this solely to season my own mind. In the Tibetan translation, the tense, such as the past tense, present tense, future tense, in terms of the translation, the teaching was used. It was translated in the past tense. And why did the Shantideva use the past tense? Because that in his mind he had already have this teaching in his mind, that fully composed in his mind. It's just that he did not write it out. So thereby, by the time he wrote this out, this commentary was composed in terms of the past tense.
然后就下面这个就是随喜，可能说是就这样。那这里呢就说，如果你这个论点也没有什么以前没有的新鲜的东西，然后呢也没有什么善巧的这个好听的这个悦耳的这个语句。然后呢，也没有利他的心，只是为了自己的话，你为什么还要把这个写出来？你就自己实修就可以了嘛？为什么还要写出来呢？而且这中间呢有一个这样的疑问，所以为了回答这个疑问，就是下面这4句，就说：寻此修习，善法故，悟性易得，暂增长，善缘等我诸学人，若得见此，荣获益。就是这个。
So from these verses, we can understand that if there's nothing new that has been said before, if this commentary presents no new information, no new teaching, nor it has sounding words, and nor it was composed for the concern of others, then what is the purpose? Why does Shantideva want to compose this commentary? And this is answered in the following verses. Owing to this, the power of my faith increases to cultivate virtue. Moreover, if someone else with a disposition like my own examines this, it may be meaningful.
这里的意思是什么呢？因为在我对这个菩提心的信心，就是有强烈的信心，所以呢，我这样写下来的过程，或者再这样写下来的话呢，更加的可以让我的信心增长。更加的让我对菩提心的信心很强烈所以呢，就是为了这个。然后还有一个呢，就是万一他说，就是万一有一些就是很善缘，跟我一样的有缘的就是这样的人来想学这个菩提心的话，他们如果见到这个的话，也许会帮助到他们。就是这么谦卑的这个语句在形容。他没有说我这个一定会利益到众生呢，一定会帮助到众生，他没有这样讲。他说是，万一就是跟我一样的人，对菩提心有信心的人，就是如果他们看到了这个的话，也许会对他们有一些帮助。所以呢，我写下来这个词论点这样。
So here it says that it is because of my devotion or my faith towards Bodhicitta, thus by composing this commentary what allows me to further enhance my devotion. And also it replies that just in case, it says if someone else, the word if, just in case someone else who are fortunate or who are in a disposition like my own, that they want to learn Bodhicitta, if they see this commentary, this may be helpful. So the words just in case and also maybe, these are actually very humble words from Shantideva. It doesn't write that, my teaching, my commentary here will definitely benefit sentient beings. Instead, he writes that just in case there are those who are like me or who have devotion towards Bodhicitta, if they are able to see this teaching, then they may be able to benefit from this.
所以呢，就是这以上的话，我们就是讲的我们所说的首义就是入菩萨行论里面的前一个部分就是首义呢，就是用5个分支来讲完了这个首义。
So this is the introduction to the commentary to the guide to Bodhisattva way of life, and as such it has divided into 5 branches.
所以我今天早上也跟大家讲了，对这个入菩萨行论的话，我们要真正的，我们不要期待说什么时候讲完，或者我们不用期待说一天讲多少，我们就是期待我这个里面学到了什么，我能够做到什么，这个我的相续当中能不能够升起菩提心这个是非常重要的。当然我们在词句上也要非常深入的去理解，然后去文思去读每一字每一句它的含义是什么，它的这个背后有什么意义，我们也要去了解。然后更要知道的是，希望在我的相续当中能够升起菩提心，然后在这个里面的所讲的每一句我能够做到哪一些。就比如说今天早上的这一堂课里面的这些，你看那个寂天菩萨的每一字每一句里面，我们要学习的太多太多了，也许就是今天早上这一堂课我们学习一辈子都学不完了所以这是非常非常殊胜的所以呢我们一定要很专注的就是对这个入行论呢要下一些功夫，要把它当做一个真正的修行来看待。我们作为一个大乘修行者的话，没有菩提心根本不属于是大乘的修行者。我们没有菩提心，我们没有办法成佛。所以呢，这个是非常非常重要的，也是关键的然后我们这个在修这个入行论的时候，我再次的强调，希望大家不要缺课。万一有什么很重要的事情缺课，也希望你们把它补上然后我们这个现在录影跟录音都在录，所以呢也许以后就可以放在网上，大家一定要补上自己的课。万一缺席的话，如果不缺席是最好。我们在修行的过程当中，我们闻思的过程当中，任何时候我们要给自己制造一个非常好的圆满的缘起就是我们什么都是有头有尾这是非常重要的。
So here in this morning, we begin the teaching on the guide to the Bodhisattva way of life. So this teaching is not, we should not have the attitude that we should anticipate when we will finish the teaching, or what is the progress for each time we engage in the teaching. It's more of how much can we learn, how much can we able to learn from the teaching itself, and how we able to generate this genuine bodhicitta in our mind stream from the teaching. Of course, regarding to the verses, these are the verses and teachings that we really need to carefully read and really understand the underlying meaning behind these verses. And also we need to see, like, regarding these things that we have learned, how much can I do to follow in accordance to the teaching itself. So we can see just by today, these verses from Shanideva, that there's actually many things we can learn from. Maybe that what we have learned today, maybe we may require our entire life to able to learn and to succeed in that. So thereby, again, this is something that we need to put effort in to this teaching. We should treat it as a part of our own practice in our path. Because as a Mahayana practitioner, without bodhicitta, you cannot consider yourself as a Mahayana practitioner, nor you are not able to attain Buddhahood. So this is actually a very, very critical and essential aspect. And so thereby here I emphasize again I encourage all of you not to miss any class unless it's something that's truly urgent and important. Even if you do have to miss class, please make sure that you have able to learn the content that you have missed on your own effort. Nowadays, these teaching will be available for recording on the internet and etc. So this is something that I really hope you to keep in mind, because in our path of learning and contemplating and practicing, we really want to create a positive, a good dependent origination. And what that means that we always start from the beginning, very beginning. We always we continue to all the way to the end.
然后呢，我也会给大家考试。这个考试是一个我们学习的时候需要一点点压力，人一点压力都没有就会懈怠，会懒惰所以呢，虽然在网络上的道友我没有办法卡制到你们，好了，没有关系但是呢，你们也自己要给自己一些压力，要好好的学习。比如说我考试就说 OK 某某某，你说一下菩提有什么含义，菩提的含义是什么就等等的之类的，我会跟大家考试，所以大家要好好的学习
And also, I will be giving out these tests or quizzes because when we are learning, sometimes when we learn, we need a little bit of pressure. Without pressure in the process of learning, we may become lazy or just not focusing. Although people from the students from the internet, I may not be able to quiz you or give you tests, but you still really should encourage yourself to continue to learn and test yourself. The test may be like, for example, so-and-so, what is the meaning of the word Bodhi? So this is the format I will be giving out a test to.
Like yen 好了 OK 所以今天呢我们就讲到这里
And so this concludes today's morning teaching.
Yeah